That feeling of feeling behind in life, almost at some point in everyone's life, you feel like you're behind compared to everybody else. Like everyone's moving forward and you're stuck in the same place. But the more you actually think about it, the more you realize that feeling actually isn't true and it actually isn't real. And I'm here to tell you why. First off, you're comparing your life to highlight reels of everybody else. Fucking social media is the worst thing that possibly could have come to my generation, generation above me, and the up and coming generation. But it's also one of the best things if you use it the right way. But social media leads you to just see everybody's curated life. People show you exactly what they want you to see and nothing else. Therefore, it leads you into this bad habit of comparing what you're doing with your life to their achievements, whether that's financially, whether that's with relationships, whether that's with business, career, whatever it might be. It's only their highlights, though. You're basically comparing your everyday life to someone's best moments, and that's not good for your mental state. Moving off of that, there's no universal timeline. People assume when you go through life that you need to have X right around Y. Everybody's timeline's different. There's no set rules for getting married, having children, switching careers. When I was in school at 19, 20 years old, there were people in my mechanical engineering classes that were like 50, 55 years old, and they just realized like what they were doing with their lives. They absolutely hated it and they wanted to do engineering. So they did. Um, More recently, I was dating someone and we were trying to figure out our schedules, and it was a month into just talking and casually dating, and she wanted things to be a little bit more serious, which is fine. You know, that's what I'm also looking for. But she was basically saying, we've been seeing each other for a month now. It's usually about time that things start ramping up. Um, to which my response was, what is the rush? What's the timeline that you're comparing that to? We can just let this unfold naturally and just kind of let things go with the flow, with the larger picture being our, end goal direction. So there's no timeline for anything really. It's your own timeline, and what you choose to do with that timeline and the actions you take is entirely up to you, and no one should judge you for that. Don't compare your timeline to anybody else's and feel bad for what you're doing. It's only you against yourself. As cliche as that sounds, it's actually true. So, building back off of point one, you only see, again, what people want you to see. You don't see what people actually struggle with. You don't see any debt. You don't see stress. You don't see failures. Sometimes you do, but it takes a real, how do I say it? It takes someone with a big set of cojones to actually post about their failures and what they're struggling with in life, because most people are afraid of judgment, and kind of putting themselves out there. And when you post something like that, it truly makes you vulnerable. But that's kind of what leads you to growth when you start doing that type of stuff. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're seeing everybody's highlight reels. And just know that behind all of those successes are an equal or larger amount of failures that that person probably went through, or stress, or debt, or whatever it may be. It ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Trust me. Internally, your own progress isn't always visible. Sometimes growth looks like learning, having your own failures, figuring shit out, moving forward with certain decisions that are going to change the course of your life, or a career move, a relationship move, anything like that. Progress isn't always measured by tangible things like the number in your bank account, or your status, or your big wins that you might achieve throughout life. Sure, they're great, but it's better to actually view that stuff, like those wins, as like a reward for all of the internal work that you've been doing. When you're learning, when you're failing, when you're figuring shit out, that's what's building for you to actually move towards that money, that status, and those bigger wins. So keep that in mind. If you're not seeing those things yet, try to take a look inside and actually look at what you're doing to get to the point or the place that you want to be, because that counts too. All right. Moving from that, the feeling of being behind comes from this made up pressure that we are just surrounded with, whether it's social, whether it's peer pressure, which I guess is kind of, social pressure, false expectations that you think everybody else has of you, or expectations that people do say that they have of you. You just got to be the judge of whether you want to withhold those expectations or not. It's your life. It boils down to what your own standards are. So this pressure that you feel basically comes from all those external expectations, which then makes you feel like you're behind when most likely you're probably not. Because again, it's your own timeline that you're on, nobody else's. In addition to that, you probably are a lot earlier than you think. Myself, I'm only 29, I'll be 30 in a couple months. I know I have a lot of time. There are people that I meet in the gym and just out and stuff like that who have achieved a lot. But the thing that I noticed amongst all of these people is that they're 10, 15, sometimes 20 years older than myself. So there's still a lot of time to get there. And you have to remember that as well. Like, you have time. Even if you're 40, you still have time. Like, don't think that you're out of time. The best time to start is now. Be mindful though. Don't waste your time. Make sure you're constantly building towards something that you want so you can remain earlier than you think you actually are. So be mindful of that, because things do take a little bit longer than you typically expect. This might sound hypocritical to what I just said, or contradictory, I should say, to what I just said. But when you have a plan for something, it's going to take longer than you expect. There's going to be pitfalls, there's going to be failures. That's all part of the process, and that's all you learning to get to where that you need to go. So don't underestimate how long it's going to take, and don't let it discourage you if it takes longer. That underestimation of the time it's going to take is kind of what creates that pressure. So keep pushing through and make sure you see it to the end. Don't overestimate how late you are either, because that's just going to add that creative pressure, and that's going to stop you from actually chasing what you want to achieve or what you want in your life. And lastly, there's always someone out there who wishes they had what you have or what you've already accomplished. I can 100% guarantee that somebody walking down the street, or somebody that you know in your life or have known, secretly wishes there's something you have that they wish they did. Whether it's a watch, whether it's a wallet, whether it's a car, whether it's a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever it may be, guaranteed somebody at some point in their life has wished they had what you have or what you've accomplished. So you're not behind. You're just on your own timeline. If you've made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.